We get started with this large crowd. Please take your seats in the back. Okay. This is going to be very small and intimate.
Yes.
So why am I wearing a hospital gown? Because I just spent 6 days in the hospital last week. I've had rheumatoid arthritis, boom, since I was 23, and it's kind of taken its toll. So I stole this hospital gown so I can talk to you all about dancing on broken feet. And primarily, this is going to be more about how to handle chronic pain and illness, and we don't expect it, and I sure didn't expect it at this age because I'm so young. But you know, it's complicated. Drugs, I do a lot of drugs, and there have been a lot of drugs over the last 40 years, and steroids. What, honey?
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my. Yeah.
You can relate?
Well, and nobody really understands to get in that cycle, and the deal, my husband's telling me to sit.
Yeah.
Sit and you do it. Okay. Sit.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, I have had a stress fracture that hasn't healed for 20 years, and I was gonna have surgery on it, and then it got canceled 6 times, and because of infections. So there's been one thing after another, and heart attack, but you know what that's done is caused me to be aware of I started to say immoral, but I meant to say my
Mortality.
Mortality. There it is.
Well, we're worried about her morality a little bit too. I was talking about the drugs a while ago. I don't know.
And when I can't say the word, just everybody cries.
Shout one out.
Just shout. It's a noun game. The noun game.
Yeah. My cousin-
I always lose.
He's my favorite cousin. But yeah, the brain goes, and you know, you lose identity. There's so much loss involved that people don't realize. And as one of the nurses
All right, we have some
said,
more winners here. Michelle, which
That's
one?
why I won.
You are a winner.
Oh, okay.
Christina Walker. Christina Walker.
But what if we win?
That's true.
Yes.
Did you win?
I'm a winner.
Yay!
How do I have to go win?
I probably dressed today.
I'll take notes for you.
You did win.
I'm recording it. I'll send you a recording.
You have to share whatever is under there.
It's a shared prize.
Hey, and look under your seats, by the way, and see if you have a frog.
I found this. No.
There is a frog and a little tulip planted in there, but you never know where it is.
She won that too.
She won.
Oh man, Norma, I'm telling you.
Move it before she gets back.
Who was it?
She won twice in a minute.
It's not fair.
Twice in a minute.
You got the frog right here.
Okay.
That reminds me of, in my counseling office, I was counseling somebody, and it was on the golf course there. It's beautiful, beautiful. I didn't have to say a thing, just, you know, have somebody go out there and just breathe. So we're sitting there, and it's a new couple, and all of a sudden, the wife goes, "There's a frog," and I thought, you know, it was a frog like this, but no, it was a huge Sonoran toad.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they have the hallucinogenics in it, so I wiped it on my face. No, doing some drugs. And congratulations, you have won twice. Woo! This is your lucky day.
Oh my
Henry
goodness.
Casino.
You're a lucky duck. You won. Oh, look how cute.
Yeah.
My granddaughter loves frogs.
So you won twice in 1 minute?
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute, we were talking about that.
I had a dog that licked a toad once. That's a good story.
Oh, that poor dog.
Took
Did
it.
he get real
No, he got real happy.
got
We
real
took him to the vet. Yeah. He kind of freaked out. Took him to the vet.
You have won a baby Jesus.
Oh, nice. A little baby Jesus.
I passed that along.
Should zoom in.
So I was sitting in the doctor's office. I was going in, and there was this man in front of me, very young man, and I saw him get up and open the door for me, and then I realized he couldn't even walk. And so I was being funny with him, and I said, "I'm working on being a sit-down comedian."
There you go.
And he said, "I was a stand-up comedian in New York." And said 6 months after I got here, I had somebody shot him in the back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it just broke my heart. And he was with his mother, 28, good-looking kid. He said everything was going well in his life, and so I gave him a baby Jesus. I got ours from my pharmacist, right? He's very photogenic.
It's a little Jesus, because he's got a beard. So it's not the baby Jesus.
You can pray to any Jesus you want, according to.
He's going through puberty.
It's a miniature Jesus.
Everybody
Phrase
needs a
it.
little Jesus.
Right.
Have you had a little Jesus?
I've got one in my purse.
Okay.
Yes.
Ready?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you phone. Well, but if you phone.
Oh, he still got those hands. Still got those hands.
She has something under her seat
Like a
too. So,
one-handed
Oh, you
catch.
do?
yeah.
You have something under your seat?
Okay.
She has the
I can hide these, so
Okay.
keep these for kids. God only knows. Look, my cord only goes this far. But anyway, I was able to, I was 23, we were working at a house at Carthage, Missouri with 14 developmentally disabled children. And Matthew, my oldest son, was 9 months old, and then we got pregnant with the first weekend off, which was like a month after we'd been there.
Too much
And then
information.
we had a newborn, 18-month-old, and 14 other kids. We had help, but within like a few weeks after having my second child, I had horrible knee pain to get to her. And then they found out the cartilage had been eaten away with his hand, so they put me on really aggressive drugs way back when, and I've been on them ever since. I've had 5 surgeries over here on this hand, and I'm a pianist, and this one's going to be the next one. But this is supposed to be the strong one, and I'm dropping stuff. I'm just fumbling, aren't I? Everything I touch just falls out on the ground. But and the feet have been operated on, and yeah, the 6 days in the hospital is trying to figure out the infection. And if I focus on that, you know I'll become that. So I try not to focus on the dark, and I try to focus on what's light and what brings joy to me, what I love. And I have learned that love is greater than fear, although sometimes the fear can really grip you. And yeah, I have been very depressed at times, to be honest, and lately it's gotten harder because of the disability. You know, before I could kind of handle myself, and now it takes all these people, an entourage. But one thing I do, and I try to do this daily, is I dance with my dog, Sansa, and I got her, it's been 10 years, and I'm still teaching her new tricks, but we slow dance and get brought, and usually it's with, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire or something like that, where they get your mojo going. And so, and she knows, because if I'm at the kitchen sink and my knees are moving, she's like, because she always gets a treat. So I put her down, we both spin at the same time, I go like this, she goes around my body, and then through my legs. That was a hard one to teach her. Yeah, so I dance, I try to dance every day. They've discovered that the cerebrospinal fluids actually wash into what the Hindus call the cave of Brahman, but it's in between your well, it's your pineal gland up in that area. But then just doing like this, no rocking, any of that, actually increases your joy. You know, you think about, you know, holding a baby and all that, and it's because of these fluids going up in my head. Now, before we go any further, I feel the need to tell you 2 lovely ladies that I never let, as my husband said, I never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So you've got to check all my facts because they're all in my head. I taught over 50 courses in 20 years, and now I can't find my car in the parking lot. Anyway, it's all good. So, but being kind to yourself, you know, that's kind of the hardest lesson, I think. And I went on disability in 2013. I'm still seeing some clients out there in Bull Canyon, and they're a gift to me, and I love them, and exploring their inner sanctuary, if you will, or their soul is like such a privilege. You know, I know people tell me things that they've never told anyone else before. I mean, and what's kind of funny is this will happen in the grocery store. Oh, wow, that doesn't work. But before long, somebody, they're either laughing or they're crying. And even the food service person who brought me my meals, it was the second time I'd seen her, and she came in, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna tell her the counselor, I'm just gonna talk with her, and within 5 minutes, she was crying. I don't know if it's my breath, but I think through my brokenness, people have found an open door, and it gives them permission to love and to be imperfect, to be broken sometimes, because you don't grow if you never break. You know, our pain becomes our purpose, and I didn't really believe that before, but I do believe that's true. And your purpose is where your passion is. You know, what is it that you love? What is it that gives you energy? And I have a card or two by Rumi at home. I always try to make room for Rumi. He was a Sufi poet 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and he said that we are just stars wrapped in skin. And there's another quote that I really like, and it's called, "Follow the path of those of your passions," you know? And so what is it that you love? You know? It's as easy as that. And you know, I believe that we all have a divine purpose no matter what, and that we're learning. And I have decided that if I'm learning and laughing, then it's a good day, right? I can get out and make people laugh. And I try to go into doctor's offices, and you know how stressed everybody is these days. Way too much, you know, and people don't see each other. You know, there's no recognition of the human soul that's in front of you. So in 2008, you guys know about this by now, I'm sure. But the genome was, you know, understood, and there's a genome in every one of the 100 trillion cells in our body. And here's what I was told. This was from a textbook. Well, I had a student who did math very well. But if you take all of our DNA coding, and there's 90% of it, they don't even know what it is, right? And some people think that's kind of the ancestral influences or cultural differences. But if you take all of that coding in DNA, and you wrote it in 12 points font, which is normal the font, it would fill up encyclopedias, not just one or two, but enough to fill the Grand Canyon. And so when people say that piece of beep, you know, when they're driving, it's like, no, every person's like unbelievably miraculous, you know? And the other thing also is that we only see like 0.4% of the light and the color that's out there. They have to dummy down the pictures of the galaxies to be able to, they have to get us into color spectrum that we can see as humans. But why would there be like 96% of all the light in the world, and we're just getting a very small portion of it? We have 1 billion bits of information coming to us every minute. Every second, I'm sorry. You've got to check me again. So, but,
It's a lot.
And my students would go, yeah, and then I'd say, okay, look at that piece of hair in front of the person in front of me. And I'd say, pull it out. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, you focus on their hair, or every stripe, every bit here. So our brain has an incredible way of filtering out all that information, which helps us be able to get through the day without focusing on, you know, the ceiling, dots in the ceiling. And then you tell your brain what's important. And that's why our perceptions are vital to our health. And trying to focus on that which is life-giving, being able to forgive yourself sometimes, when there's been a lot of anger there, figuring ourselves is probably one of the hardest things. But choosing what, I don't want to say our reality, because God knows I've tried to give this gift back, but I think that when we are focused on walking love, that comes more easily to us. I was into heart math, and if you don't know about heart math, that was in the 90s, I think, when they started doing research on the heart wave, and the I'm just going to throw these in here together again, check it, because it may not be true. But that our heart wave goes out, it used to be 5 feet from our body, and then it was 11 feet, and then the last thing I read, now they have instruments that measure how far that energy from your heart goes. And the energy in the heart is in the electrical part of your heart 70 times more stronger than your brain is. And so you're in sync whenever your brain and your heart are in the same pattern. And the thing that's so fascinating to me is I've done studies with mothers and babies, and a mother just holding a baby, within a few minutes their brain waves will match each other and the heart rate. And when you're in flow, that's that synchrony. And so when you're walking around with that kind of synchrony and connection, people feel it. So if I'm like, well, even as far as you, I would know, Colette, what you're thinking, or I could look at your face and go, oh, she's a little depressed. Maybe she needs a smile. So, but I started passing out smiles as a coping mechanism to help deal with the pain. And I have had some incredible experiences. And I passed out 2,000 of these stupid little smiles on a stick. But, I made 2,000 people smile in this lifetime. And that's pretty cool, right? I always thought I'd be so famous, and now I'm famous only in my own mind. But, so that's kind of dancing on broken feet has been my motto lately. That despite all the physical things that are going on, in my hands, I'm a pianist. And the last surgery they did, they put in a brace, and now I can't play the piano. So I was very down, and I got very sick, didn't I? Just a few weeks ago. So it's sad that, well, it just is. You take what you're given, and I can even choose to be in pain, or I can choose to be in peace. And you find that peace through your purpose. And once you find that purpose, we all need to play. Play is underrated these days. If I have a couple that comes to me for marriage counseling, as they're going out the door, I'd say, hey, play. Don't even think about this. Just go play. Spend time like you did in the beginning with each other. And I had one couple that took my advice so strongly that they bought a new SUV after they left my office. So
There's an idea.
$40,000 for them. So, yeah. But I think that if you can lead with laughter and love and learning to distract yourself from pain or from whatever is going on, suffering, grief, it will help you be able to hope and find a purpose, because you're making the other person happy or opening doors of compassion. And I have seen places completely transformed. I do smile bombings. I do smile drive-by bombings. There we go. At like Starbucks or wherever, wherever I am. And I'll say, how many people are in there working? And I pass out the smiles, and I love that. And they think I'm a little crazy, and I love that too. I wrote 2 poetry books the year before last. I had 30 journals. And after the heart attack, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to die, and my kids are never even going to be able to read this. And so I got together poetry from the age of 15 to 40, and then from 40 till now. And it's interesting because it's my early poetry. It's all conformed and nice, and it's just like, just nice, neat poetry, because I knew so much at the age of 16. But then the next book is more jagged and more fun. But in the second book, Beth Gioia Epiphany, Electrified Thought, I have a whole section in there called The Deli of the Delirious. And so I go and I create delectables from the deli of the delirious. When I'm in pain, I'll just go and I make crazy poems up. But I think we all need to be a little insane to be sane these days. And there's so much heaviness in the air, and we forget to look into somebody's eye, to feel their heart. Oh, I was going to tell you with heart math, they have this software where you can hold this thing, and if it turns green, that meant that you were in flow with your heart wave. Have you seen that? And then there's one that's like you're playing a video game, and when your brain created, it's biofeedback, but when your brain created the alpha wave and it matched with your heart wave, whenever that happened, Yeah, the picture would, the baby would move or the light would turn green. So I'm trying out this hardware on the back of the place where I was getting training and thinking, oh, this would be great to use in my practice to teach people how to meditate. And so anyway, that whenever I did it, I couldn't get the light to turn green. I couldn't get it in sync with it. And she said, well, think about something that you're grateful for. And whenever I did that, I was like, something I'm grateful for. And the woman who was helping me had an accent just like my rheumatologist. And she was great, Dr. Today, right? And I thought, oh, Dr. Today, I love her. And then it turned green. Yeah, ta-da! Pretty great accomplishment, I think. So we're walking in grace. There was a doctor, Dr. Alman, who was in Tulsa, and he did a whole PBS special. But I think he took something like 32 brain scans, positron emission tomography. And in that, he found that gratitude heals the brain. That the worst thing for the brain is not getting enough sleep, drinking too heavily. I'm a heavy drinker these days.
Clarify that. She's a teetotaler. Don't let her.
But anyhow, that gratitude that we carry with us can change our brains, and that can be a physical change in the brain. One man he had a brain scan of, and the man ended up. He ended up doing what? I don't remember. But that's okay. He ended up with. He came in with his brain scan looked horrible. I thought, oh, this guy's hitting the bottle a lot, right? But then he asked us, and he said, no, I don't drink. And he said, that's right. Well, come to find out, when he started having cognitive problems, it was whenever he was working in a refinishing store. So those chemicals actually was destroying his brain. You can see it. And areas that are activated. But if you want to heal your brain, gratitude. If you want to heal relationships, gratitude. And gratitude, of course, comes from gracious and gratuity and all that from the same word. But I think sometimes before you can give gratitude, I think sometimes it's our walls that we build up around our hearts. There are times in which, people need to forgive themselves. I find more and more, well, I've tried to get everybody to watch the Ho'oponopono Hawaiian prayer. It's very powerful. But in it, it's just 12 words. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And just those words are powerful in themselves, just for healing. So Sandra Rollis is who I like to listen to. And it's like 45 minutes of great of peace, and her saying this over and over again in different ways. But she talks about in the middle of that she has it to forgive yourself. And you're all ready to forgive somebody else, because they're the ones with the problem, and then you realize that you've got to forgive yourself. And it's okay to be imperfect, being perfectly imperfect. And I hope this younger generation will try to be able to get through it without perfection, and being exact. But in that, I remember crying a lot, and a lot of people who have done the prayer with me, when they get to that point about forgiving oneself, I've actually been angry with myself for my body being like it is, and if I only had more positive thoughts. But it's not reality all the time. And I think to take what you have been given and the reality that you know, and to look for the good in it all is powerful. And it doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing that these days. So they need a smile. So I have more smiles back at the table. So anyway, there is so many amazing things that they're discovering now, like a paradigm shift in all kinds of sciences, like grass talking to each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And trees.
So whenever you mow, this is a fun fact. Whenever you mow your lawn, and that smell of, it smells so good, that is actually a sign of warning where the grass blades are telling the other blades
Run
of
away.
grass. Yeah. And what happens is the blade of grass, when it hears or smells, however they communicate, the nutrients in that blade go down to the bottom
Oh.
of the blade, so that they're more likely to keep their nutritional value or whatever, even after they're mowed down. You can even buy online now if you go hiking a lot, you can buy a connector where it connects to a leaf and you can listen to the sound of the leaves.
Heard that.
I mean, that was at 1700s with the Kepler. I think came up with the idea of celestial spheres and the music of the spheres. You can go on the NASA website and listen to the sun and the sound that's coming out of the sun. You know, and what we're finding out is that energy just goes on and on and on. That's why I believe in life after death, mostly. You know, but yeah, because it really is about energy not being created or destroyed. And so even water has consciousness. Look it up, it's bizarre. Everything we thought was dead isn't, and communicates. So those Hindus were right after all. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up, you all. Thank you for, what?
Rescue plane?
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead and play something.
Okay, you have to put the microphone by the
Okay.
thing when you're done talking. Just
I don't even
finish
know what
up.
time it is. But then again, time is an illusion.
2 o'clock.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.